This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 51 of the 2018 WEG show on the Horse Radio Network for September the 13th. This episode is brought to you by Kentucky Performance Products, Horseware, Bait Saddles, and Bed and Barn Farms.
Today we bring you a warm, beautiful, and less violent day at the World Equestrian Games. Dressage, Eventing, Dressage, and Reining were all in the ring today. Recapping Dressage is Reese and Phillip of the Dressage Radio Show. Samantha guides us through the first day of Eventing Dressage, and Lisa Coulter from Canada, who is a reiner, shares the highlights of reining with us. Plus lots of rider interviews and the people of WEG at the end of the show. Listen in.
Welcome to the 2018 WEG Show, your home for all the news and views of the 2018 World Equestrian Games.
Hello, I'm Samantha Clark.
And this is Glenn the Geek, and we are your hosts and guides to the 2018 World Equestrian Games. Welcome to our daily coverage of the games. Well, it was day number 2 of competitions here at the World Equestrian Games, and it was a little less... What's the word we want to use? Contentious, a little less violent than yesterday. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. I have a little follow-up to the endurance controversies of yesterday. But first, as we are doing every day, let's talk about the weather. So
Hot,
it was hot as heck today. It was humid. It felt like we were home in Ocala, Florida, actually. But as far as the hurricane is concerned, it has started to hit the coast now. It's working its way a little bit south and over our way. A flash flood watch has been issued for Tryon from Saturday morning at 8 a.m. through Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. It's going to be wet in these parts, and so.
What was that Eddie Murphy thing? Hot and wet, which is not good if you're in the jungle, but great. Should I carry on or not?
I think we get the hint.
Okay.
But it may be slowing down a little, which is good for cross-country day on Saturday. So we may get that in before the torrential rains show up. So we can hope.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. So we're going to see what happens with that. It looks like we're definitely going to get some rain. We're definitely going to get some wind. And when it gets here is going to be the key. So that's what's going on there. As far as endurance is concerned, if you were following social media today in the endurance world, you would have seen nothing but talk about what happened yesterday in the endurance world. I do have a statement from Mike Everett. We tried to get somebody on all day long, and nobody is talking. None of the riders. We couldn't get anybody from the U.S., except for Mike Everett, who was crewing for Gwen Hall, who is the current AERC national champion for the United States. That's the American Endurance Ride Conference champion for the United States. She was riding, and this is what he said. It hurts in a big way. Our U.S. teams were well prepared and meeting the demands of the endurance ride yesterday. We competed with great respect for our horses and with the respect of everyone around us. We were professional in every way, and we wanted all of you to be proud of us. We were striving to bring home the team medal for USA. We were poised to accomplish our goals with 3 still in the ride when our dreams were shattered with the stoppage of the event. Lots of tears. It is hard. It hurts in a big way.
Oh, Glenn.
So... Now, we do know that the Spanish have filed a grievance today with the FEI because they were actually leading the race when the race was stopped yesterday. So it's a mess. It's just a mess. So that was what they had to say from the U.S. At this point, we don't have much more to say that's confirmed other than we do know the Spanish has filed their grievance.
There we go. It's the FEI, so it's going to be months and months and months of investigations and meetings and just, yeah. So, there we go.
Well, let's do this. We're going to get to Reese and Phillip doing dressage, and then Lisa Coulter and Samantha. We have all kinds of coverage for you, but first we have to hear from our title sponsor, Kentucky Performance Products.
Is your horse currently suffering from metabolic syndrome and insulin dysregulation? Do you have a horse that is at risk for developing insulin resistance? Or a horse with Cushing's disease that may become insulin resistant? Ask your vet about Insulin Wise. Insulin Wise is a blend of polyphenols and amino acids that support normal insulin regulation in horses. Insulin Wise maintains lower blood insulin levels, which is a sign of increased insulin sensitivity. Insulin Wise supports a decreased risk of laminitis in insulin-resistant horses. Insulin Wise also sustains normal insulin regulation in at-risk horses, reducing the chance of them developing insulin resistance in the future. Fight back against insulin resistance and laminitis. Talk to your vet about Insulin Wise today. To learn more, visit kppvet.com. Insulin Wise is sold only through licensed veterinarians.
Come visit Kentucky Performance Products booth at World Equestrian Games to pick up a button for a chance to win daily prizes and grand prizes, a $500 shopping spree at Smart Pack Equine. Their tent is located next to the Smart Pack in the World Equine Expo Trade Fair. Purchase your Kentucky Performance products from Smart Pack during the World Equestrian Games and save. You will receive 50%, I can't talk. You will receive 50% off your first month of Smart Pack orders or 25% off your first auto ship of a bucket product. That's a big savings on Kentucky Performance products. They're only available here at the trade fair. If you want to check out their website, go to kppusa.com. Well, now it is time to find out what happened in dressage today at the World Equestrian Games. And, of course, we have Reese Koffler-Stanfield and Philip Parks, hosts of the Dressage Radio Show here on the Horse Radio Network. And they were here all day watching every freaking test that happened today. And we are going to get a report. Tell us about the day in dressage. First, let's explain today what was happening today in dressage.
Yeah, so today, actually, it's been quite a nice day. I think from the spectator standpoint, I think people know where to go. There's a little bit more order today. So that, from our perspective, was great. It's been quite nice.
And what kind of test was it, and what were you doing?
Yes.
The second half of the Grand Prix competition was today. Because there's so many riders here, they have to split it into 2 days. Typically, the second day will have your anchor riders, so the second and the third and fourth riders on your team. So this is a day that we're really excited for. This is what we get up in the morning for. Yeah, yesterday was really nice. I mean, that's great, but today is what it's all about, and
today,
getting right down to who's going to take home the medals. What are the places going to be, and horses that we haven't seen that are typically shown in Europe. These are the ones we want to see today. So it was sort of. It's really exciting for us, even though...
I feel like I got a few lessons in dressage. Starting, I would say, if there's really some rides you want to see from the Grand Prix today, you want to see Carl Hester. Just watching him ride, it's like literally a lesson and where you should be. It's a master class and where you should be in a dressage test. So it started with him.
And I heard he's a bit of a showman, too. He like at the exit.
He's kind of a ham at the end there. The horse, because of all of the clapping and the excitement, the horses get excited, and he was sort of not stopping it from happening.
It was encouraging.
So
and I think
really
the crowd
fun.
was encouraging.
The crowd loves it. Yeah. So a bit of a showman there, and that was exciting.
Yeah, I think then the next one that was really worth watching, again, we're kind of giving you the highlights, was Cosmos and Sonika Rothenberger, who's the young German rider. He's, I think, 23.
23-year-old rider.
It was a whole lesson on how, the Piaffe and Passage on that horse is fantastic. I have not seen that horse in person.
That's probably, I think it's probably the best all-around horse in dressage, of the horses today, because almost everything is a highlight. Canter is a highlight. Pirouettes are a highlight. Really, really like that horse. And,
that was fun to watch.
And I think Sonika is gaining lots of international experience.
Yeah, 23. Both his parents were international Grand Prix riders, so I think there's some pressure there, but I seem to handle it beautifully. And then after Sonika, then we sort of got into Casey. I think Casey Perry-Glass on her Dublé for the United States had a great ride. Couple little mistakes. I think she had a mistake on the center line, but very minor, and it was a great test.
Yeah,
it was.
I think there was a mistake in the changes as well.
But in the ones, that's right.
Minor. In dressage, it's sort of like even the minor mistakes are like huge.
Whoa. Well, at this level, those little things really,
they add up to points, and points are valuable because, when it got down to the end of it, the team competition was really, the Germans, they were taking home the gold.
Yeah, we did have medals today.
Yes, we did have medals today.
Germans took the gold.
The Germans took the gold, but, we're talking so minute. So we saw... the next really, really good rider was Charlotte Desjardins. Has a new horse that she brought out, and she's only done 6 Grand Prix. and the horse's name is Mount St. John's Freestyle, and it's a 9-year-old horse. I mean, it was
That is really, really young for dressage.
really young. It was great to
Inexperienced,
watch.
but it's a beautiful, wonderfully trained horse
Yeah.
that is going to be at the top very soon.
For sure. She said she's ridden it since it was 5. So
She's a mare, isn't she?
It's a mare.
Yeah.
And it was just, you watch it and you could just see the future, and you like got goosebumps from watching her go. So that was pretty amazing. And then we've also, so we can talk about the team competition. Germany was really far ahead, but
So they took the 4 riders from each team rode, and they had a drop score. So they took the 3 best scores, combined them for a total score, and that's how they determined the medals.
Right.
So Germany was way ahead with 242.95. Laura Grace had a wonderful ride to finish
wonderful
the day.
ride.
She was the last rider to go. I'm sure that's tons of pressure because she knows exactly what she needs to score for the U.S. to medal.
maybe she doesn't, but the team, that they knew back there that
Yeah.
she had to get pretty close to 80% because we didn't talk about Isabelle Vert and Bella Rose.
I saw her test. By the way, I know nothing about dressage, but I watched her test and went, okay, I know why she's number 1 in the world.
She's a master.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I mean, if you watch her test, you see what a 10 is in Piaffe and Passage and the transitions. I mean, you watch that and you're like, okay, it is achievable. How did she do that? I mean, it was unbelievable.
Do you guys
to
find
watch.
yourself saying, I want to do that someday?
I mean,
I want to do it like now. Like,
Yes,
I mean,
yeah,
if I
you
could
wanna
get
go
home and ride
a bit,
I would
but-
do that. Or I would think I'm Isabelle Vert.
or
But
try it, yeah.
I am going to, every time when I'm now training this, think, okay, that's what it looks like. And I think that's what you come to these games for, and you want to watch that on YouTube. So I would say if you're going to watch anything, you need to watch Carl, Sonika, Isabel, and Laura, and Casey. Maybe those were your top
I
5.
like Patrick Kittle. He had a
Patrick
small mistake
Kittle?
that cost him.
I watched those
Also-
too.
Yeah, it's a big, powerful horse, but really, really great. Like expression in the extended trots were fantastic.
Yeah, unbelievable. It was so pretty, and he's such a tall guy, Patrick. And a lot of guys look, no offense, Phil, but they look big and strong on there.
Yeah.
No, I mean, guys just aren't as elegant, but he is so elegant on a horse. You look at him and think, how does he do that? He's a really tall guy, and he's beautiful to watch.
It's funny because Jennifer also commented that he's handsome. So
He's not a bad-looking guy, ladies.
got a
I'm
good
not
silhouette, isn't he?
saying any of they were all bad-looking. He does look good. So if you're gonna spend some time and find some horses to watch, I literally all those horses. You're like, oh, okay, that's how it's classically supposed to be done. So that's why you come here.
Can we say now, USA got silver?
Yes,
Yay!
USA got silver, and this was huge. I do not know. It has not happened in my lifetime. I don't know if it. We would have to check our facts, honestly, but I am not sure it's ever happened in my lifetime. And it was, we had a listener meetup, but I did not come because I haven't seen. I wanted to see them get the medal. It was so cool.
So you know that Germany has won 7 of the 8 WEGs.
Yeah, I mean, and if you watched all of their riders, their drop score was a 75%. So that was their drop. 2 of their riders were in the 80% range. So, I mean, we have Laura who also was, in the 80% range, but she was our only rider. Casey was pretty close, but,
Can we mention who was in bronze medal?
I'm waiting.
Oh, I'm
Come on.
I know. What we'll give the American
I'm
score
sitting
was
here.
230.
dying right now.
233 was the American score, and
So what was the difference between first and second?
Come on.
No, so Great Britain
almost
for Sam.
10% actually.
Yeah,
or,
Great
or
Britain
10
and
points.
Great Britain?
Britain was third, got the bronze
Yay!
medal.
There you go,
Yay!
Samantha.
And we have to say it was very exciting because the
Yes.
difference between the third and fourth place, which fourth was Sweden, was 0.2%.
Wow.
0.2.
Yeah.
It was close.
It was,
It was a nail biter.
really
so,
close for them.
So that's why Patrick Kittle's ride was very exciting because you're kind of you figure it out.
Crushing for Sweden.
Yeah, it was. He had one
She
little
says with a
mistake in the
little
pirouettes.
smile.
Yeah, he had one little mistake in the pirouettes, and that was literally probably the.
That
the
was a
difference.
medal-winning mistake.
Yeah,
probably.
it was.
Yeah.
For
Do you
his
think
team.
we had the eventing dressage, and do you think a couple of the Americans, Boyd Martin especially, remarked that he felt like the home crowd. When he went in on his horse, there was massive applause, and he felt like that helped him. Do you feel like there was a home crowd advantage to the Americans? Do you feel like they punched above their weight being here at trial?
I think it's a really personal thing, because it's at home. There's a lot of pressure. But these riders, I think, at this level and with their experience, pressure is something they like, or they're at least used to. So you think that.
Especially Boyd would eat that up, I think, and maybe
exactly.
like
Depends on the
that,
person,
yeah.
but if you
And it depends on the horse too. He said his other horses in the past, like Neville or Otis, would have gone mad, but he said his horse Thomas falls behind the leg a bit anyway, and so his horse
he needed the little
likes
spark.
it. The arena heard the applause,
Yeah.
and he said, he started presaging a bit. And I'm like, do you think he really did? But
Maybe he was
Maybe not
jogging.
the same. Maybe not the same as the other ring on the other side of the building, but
But he said it helped him, and he said it also helped Boyd himself. It sort of made him, he forgot his nerves for a second because he sort of had a little giggle to himself, and then he was like, right, okay.
yeah, ready to go.
focus,
I think that's a
we're nervous
personal
and
thing.
fine.
But if you've qualified for this and you have a horse that is here, it thrives on that as well, right? It's going to bring the top to the top.
Yeah, and that was very evident today. It was really, really special to watch.
Yeah, Laura Graves came in, and it's the
she
same
nailed
thing.
it.
Just the applause and the support that she was getting. I think that helped.
And Laura
horse.
thinks a little under the weather. That's what she said in
Yeah,
the
she said she
conference.
was
She's
sick.
not feeling very good. So they have a quick turnaround. They really are not going to celebrate much tonight. They have the special starting in the morning.
So these horses will go on 3 days in a row. Let's talk about that.
No.
No?
no,
2
so
days. 2
they're
days
going to
in a
go
row.
to
So the ones that went
some.
today,
Right.
Yeah.
the ones
Will
that
go
went
tomorrow.
today,
That
qualified.
Yes,
So a certain number of these team riders for the team competition will have qualified for individual.
that's right.
Yes. Okay.
That's right. And they're
Yeah.
doing the draw right now. So we actually don't have the draw for
Okay.
tomorrow, but it probably starts around 8:30.
So do we
I
know
can
how
check that.
many will go?
Approximately half.
Half?
Because
Okay.
they can only fit X number of riders in
In a
one
day.
day.
Per day,
That's basically
yeah.
half because we did already 2 days for one class. Now
And
we
there'll
cut that in
be-
half.
Will there be medals for tomorrow's Grand Prix special or not?
I don't think so. Typically at a WEG they don't.
Okay,
It'll
so
be
they're
for the-
then qualifying half of that field, then goes
They'll
on to
tear them
freestyle.
down to
We'll go to the
another
freestyle.
half
Yeah.
or so
Yeah.
to go to the freestyle day, which is
Which Sunday.
scheduled for Sunday.
So
Yeah.
some of the horses, went yesterday, had today off, will go tomorrow. Then everyone has Saturday off. So there's a quiet day on Saturday, and then they go Sunday.
Well, let's talk about that because we're going to play a little bit of the press conference here, and the heat was brought and humidity was brought up several
Yeah.
times.
European
hot.
horses are not typically used to that. I think the Americans came to Tryon quite early and have been training in it a bit. So that's
I
But it
know
was-
this
it
that
was
the
hot.
Germans and the British both mentioned the heat and humidity.
Yeah, and really the afternoon. By the time Laura and Isabel went, it was starting to cool off. The breezes were coming a little bit, but in the heat of the afternoon, that sort of
yeah, the morning riders were
brutal.
fine because there was cloud cover this morning. But I would say from noon to
It's hot.
I saw one of the guy riders this afternoon. I don't know who it was, but we saw him on TV, so they were doing close-ups. I thought he was going to pass out. I mean,
It was, and we're in the stands, and we were actually in the covered part, so we weren't in the heat. But you even think on that sand, it's even hotter. So it was very hot. And if you hadn't trained in that, even if you had trained in it, it's still hot for the horses and
Yeah.
riders.
No, it's brutal.
Yeah,
We
brutal.
were all talking about that too on our rig.
Yeah, and they both. It was just hot. So there's not much they can do about that.
I give crowd credit. We had about double the crowd we did yesterday over in Dressage,
Yeah.
and which still was about half the stadium, I would say.
Yeah.
But the people who were sitting in the sun all day, God bless them, because
They were
yeah,
there.
they were there
They
all
were
day.
there.
I would have.
They
I would have
hung in
moved.
there.
They were there. They hung in there, and they were great. But it was.
It's
was
worth
a pretty
it.
educated
It was
crowd.
worth it.
Yeah.
If you're sitting out there and you're a dressage fan, it was worth it.
Today was worth it, and you just don't see, even in Florida or California, there's not this collection of all of these horses. And there were some horses that had a tough day. Canada, where
Yeah, we had
it
there were
was
some
n-
mistakes.
some mistakes today.
Yeah. Megan
So-
Lane had some mistakes in her test, which is really not typical. Who can say? We might try and get her on to talk about it if she's willing. But tough day for Canada.
and I'm assuming you'll have some of the American riders on in shows coming up here.
Yeah,
so,
we just they're already back. They're already gone. We saw Betsy Giuliano, who's the owner of Salvino, just a minute ago, and they're literally going back to the hotel because
They're resting up for
they have to
tomorrow.
rest
Yeah.
up for tomorrow. So
Yeah,
there's
that's
really
true.
it's
I
a
assume
school
Laura,
night.
who's feeling sick anyway, is already in bed.
Yeah,
so,
she was
yeah.
looking a little green today,
Yeah.
but it's a school night for them, so they're gonna kind of relax and probably get right into whatever their prep is.
I'll drug her up tonight, and she'll be fine tomorrow.
Well, whatever within
Whatever-
reason, right?
within-
They
Yeah,
whatever's
They
within the
can't
rules.
take
Oh, that's
everything,
true.
right?
Yeah.
It's a
That's
little
true.
bit
I
there.
forgot. No,
Right,
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean,
there's-
that's tough when you got a cold.
Yeah, absolutely. So they it's not so easy. You have to know that. It's part of competing at the international level. You have to know for your horse
You have to
and
know
for
what
the
herbal remedies don't test.
Well,
and then you
they
get
have
it.
they thank their physios and they have doctors
Yeah.
and physios that they'll should be okay, but the heat doesn't help and all the things that go along. You know, they ride and then they have the kind of kiss and cry and then they have to get off and then come to the press conference and
It's a
get the horses set
long,
up
long
and
day.
they've had a
Yeah.
long day. So hopefully they draw later tomorrow.
All right, so we had winners. We had Germany in first. We had United States in second, and we had
Great Britain.
in
fun day.
third. So congratulations to all of them. Thank you guys so much. We'll talk to you again tomorrow night, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to do our best to stick around as long as we can.
Okay, so we'll get it. Well, if you don't hang around till the evening, we'll get the interview before that, and we'll
Okay.
get a. So
Yeah.
you guys will be on tomorrow, whatever way.
Yeah, we love
whatever
it.
way
We're
that
so happy to
happens.
be here. It's been a really fun time.
You know what's going to be interesting is the freestyle on Sunday because they are calling for the rains to start Saturday and
Yeah.
through Tuesday. So we'll see what happens with
yeah.
that. Do dressage horses like pouring down rain?
No, they're ridden inside all the time. Not all the time, but I mean, I think everyone's a little on edge, right? We don't know.
I mean, the footing will handle
The
it, but
hood-
that
the
doesn't
footing will
mean
be fine,
that doesn't
but-
mean you like pouring
What
down
if
rain.
they moved
wind.
it into the indoor? What would
Well,
that
the
footing
The problem
be
is
like?
the footing is for reiners, and reiners and dressage footings are very,
the
very
raining footings so
different.
thick
Different.
or thicker or whatever,
I don't.
deeper.
It's
very
deeper,
yeah.
right? And we want not slipping.
We
So
want-
I don't.
That would be a nightmare.
Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do. I think everyone's a little bit on edge, not maybe thinking about it yet because it's still wobbling and changing. And
The
but
forecast is always
it's-
Oh, I'm
changing.
sure they're thinking about
Oh,
it. but-
Yeah.
they haven't told us, and I'm sure the riders are also.
Well, they did do an article in the Charlotte Observer saying they might move some of the events indoors, and the only thing I could think of would be show jumping. They obviously can't move cross country indoors.
Would the show jumpers jump in that deep footing for the
No.
rainers?
No,
I
I
don't
mean
think
unless
so.
they're able
think
to.
they're going to switch out the footing, or whether whether they just said that to.
I don't know.
Yeah,
how
that's
they
the
would
big
do this.
speculation
That's a
right
big
now. I
job
mean, I
in
think
2
again, I
days.
think the eye is coming right on Sunday, so that would be really, really difficult.
They built that arena over there in
Yep.
72 hours.
Yeah, they built this arena in 4 days, so who
Yeah,
knows what they can do here.
I think they're maybe they can roll the footing or do something with the footing. I don't know, but it will be interesting. I'm sure it's
I
on
mean,
the
they
minds
switch
of the
out the
riders.
footing at the horse park pretty quickly.
But the
that's a
Rainers do
smaller
go
arena.
on Saturday night is their big time for their freestyle.
Yeah, so maybe they can pull
or
the
no, they
footing
don't
or
have freestyle,
something.
but their big thing is their finals or
finale,
whatever is
yeah.
on.
Maybe
Saturday
they can
night.
pull the footing. I don't know. I hope they're planning it. And
It'll be
I
an all-night job.
hope they can go. If they can do that, that would be amazing. Because trying to ride a freestyle and hear the music and all that,
Maybe Auntie Flo is going to go a little further down and miss us completely.
that would be
Maybe.
amazing.
That
It
would
would
be
be
the dream
amazing.
scenario.
So, yeah, that would be good. So we'll see what happens. But tomorrow should be a really exciting day. We're looking forward to tomorrow.
All right.
And
Thank you, Reese and Philip. Dressage Radio Show, DressageRadioShow.com. Thanks. Equestrians at every level aspire to create the ultimate harmony between horse and rider, and Bates Saddles are here to help you achieve that harmony. That's why Bates offer highly specialized saddles for every discipline, engineered to bring out the best in you and your horse. The Bates Dressage range will raise your expectations forever. Beneath the traditional lines and elegant appearance, the Bates Dressage saddles deliver modern innovations for horse comfort and performance. The new Bates Dressage Plus and Bates Mono Plus feature luxurious, grippy, double-lined leather and adjustable ergonomic stirrup bars for effortless rider alignment and increased support of your optimal dressage position. The time-tested Bates Isabel continues to give riders a unique deep seat, sitting you in a central and balanced position, in addition to the Care Cushion System and Easy Change Fit solution found throughout the Bates range of saddles. Revolutionize your riding experience and fulfill your true potential in Bates Dressage Saddles. For more information, visit BatesSaddles.com. That's Bates, B-A-T-E-S, saddles.com.
Well, today was the first day of dressage for eventing. We have to, a bit like proper dressage, you have to split it into 2 days because there's just so many. So we saw a few of the individuals and the first 2 team riders of each country, and sort of as expected, Julia Krauski, she's called for Germany, went into the lead she went just after lunch, and it was really hot and everyone was feeling rather sort of sleepy, and this woke us up immediately. She did the most stunning test on her horse, Chipmunk. She has done tests of 19.9 penalties. She's done 19s before, but never. This is the horse's first 4-star dressage test, and she went in there and just blew everyone away. I mean, she's leading by 8 points from the second place. Yeah,
Wow.
I mean that is a commanding
That's
lead.
a large lead, isn't it? In an event.
She was amazing, and she came out. She's so sweet and humble, and she's had the horse since he was a foal. She said it was so nice to feel him relaxed. She cantered around the outside of the arena, and he was relaxed and with her. The test was beautiful to watch. I was, Reese and Philip have been teasing me all day about why would I want to watch eventing dressage, and it's not proper dressage, but this was a really nice test,
Well,
and something
yeah.
no one, anyone would be
You would
proud
not
of.
expect that because even eventers go, dressage.
But at the top level, they're pretty good. I think, it's been historically, it hasn't been, but they're getting so good now. So Boyd Martin went in and he sits in second. He did a fantastic test.
Really?
too.
Good for him.
Yes.
And
So
we have a bit of sound from him too,
we
don't
do
we?
have a bit of sound from Boyd. I picked out the best bits from the mix zone. I got to talk to a lot of the riders, and it's it's funny. I mean, it's nice that we see, nice thing about the World Championships, like Reese and Philip were saying, you see the best of the best in the world, that even in Florida and California you won't see. The same thing, I meet up with all the same journalists that I see. Pippa Room's here from England for Horse and Hound. Jane Thompson's here from New Zealand. So I see them periodically over every couple of years, maybe, or every 4 years sometimes. And none of us are jaded. It's still just exciting. I still get emotional talking to the riders. Pippa and I stay till the very end and talk to Tina Cook, and you'll hear that interview. And after it, it's been a long, hot day, not just for the riders, but for us too. I don't want to, first world problems, but, Pippa and I, by then, were dragging our feet. The guy who runs the mix zone, Peter Morris, is amazing. And we were all just like, oh. But then we talked to Tina Cook, and you'll hear, but Pippa and I looked at each other and just went, oh, we love her. I mean, they're just so
Where's Tina
inspiring.
from?
She's British,
Yeah.
and this is her 5th World Games, and she said, she still loves it. She still has the fever. She's riding as an individual. She explained very eloquently how it's disappointing not to be riding on the team, but she understands why. There were so many great stories today. I spoke to a Japanese rider. I spoke to the Polish rider who was at Kentucky in the spring. He's back here. He trains with Michael Young. I mean, it's exciting, and it makes you fall in love with the sport. I think yesterday was so disappointing with the endurance, and everyone's been talking about the weather so much, and I'd been a little bit like, oh, what's going to happen? And then today, my friends actually in Kentucky and my mother in England, they've been texting me like, what's going on with the hurricane, and what's going on with this, and are you okay? And I'm like, I've got my head down, I'm working, I'm fine. Like, what hurricane?
Leave me
It's
alone.
fine. Everything's going to be fine.
Check
We're
our
in the
Facebook
middle,
page.
We're in the middle of dressage.
Leave me alone. I'm busy
Eventing-
watching stars.
Eventing has started. This is what we do.
Yeah, that's right. Don't bother me.
Victoria Scott is from South Africa. She's the only South African eventer. She talks about how much it means to her and her country, to be here representing her country. And she's met other South African equestrians since she's been here, and they've all been bonding together and
how
meeting each
cool.
other. I mean, so many great stories that we don't even have time to.
Because
sort
they
of-
actually practice, most of them in England. They're not coming out of South Africa because they can't bring their
She's
horses
based
out.
in France, yeah, because
Yeah.
the quarantine is just
Yeah.
so crazy. So, yeah, I mean, it's just been so much fun. And then we do it all again tomorrow with some.
So can you give us the top 5?
I can give you the top 5.
Yep.
So Julia Krowski is on 19.9. She's in the lead for Germany, and I can't
Did you say
imagine
19.9?
19.9.
Now, for everybody, that's really good.
That's really, really good. It's one of the top three scores ever at a World Championships, and
Oh,
that's
wow.
according to Equirating. So thank you to them for their stats.
Wow.
So that's how good that is. And it's unlikely that she'll get beaten tomorrow.
Yeah, because we do have a whole nother group
We've
of
got a
riders tomorrow.
whole group tomorrow,
Yeah.
and a little bit like the dressage shoe, that you usually save your better riders for the 3rd and 4th slots. But I mean, maybe Ingrid Klimko. There's a few riders who might, but it's unlikely. So anyway, she's in the lead. In second place, Boyd Martin for the US.
Yay. Go Boyd.
Go Boyd. And then, as usual, and Boyd also always gets around the cross country. I mean, he's never not finished at the cross country and Olympics or the WEG. When he's been on the team, he is in second place on 27.1. And he said, it's going to be tough and the hill and this and that, but he's going to go out there on Saturday and give it everything he's got. And I believe him. Third place, Piggy French on Quarry Quest Echo for Great Britain. Fourth place, Chris Burton for Australia on Cooley Lands. Fifth place, Tina Cook on Billy the Red, riding as an individual for Great Britain. And sixth place was Donatien Choly for France on Pivoine des Touches. So Yeah, exciting. And that could change tomorrow, but I don't think we'll see the very top
Yeah, I
change.
think the first place is liable to stay the same, but further down we're going to see some mix-ups
Ingrid
maybe.
Klimke could come close.
Yeah. It put Germany 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And we want to explain for everybody that's not quite sure, they're with eventing, because they can't do separate tests for the nation's medals and then individual medals. They run them all together. It's all run at the same time. So it's not like the Rainers who all compete for the team and then compete individually.
No, it's just once. So we will know on Sunday night. Yeah.
So we'll know both.
So we do 2 days of dressage, cross country on Saturday, hopefully, and show jumping on Sunday, hopefully.
And there's some riders that are riding for teams, and then there's also individual riders.
But they all compete against each other.
Right. And we want to remind people who are new to this sport altogether, listening to our show, who are new to all these sports, this is one of the very few anything in sports that competes men and women together.
Yep.
And we're so proud of that, too.
Yep.
Equally, and the women do as well as the men, if not better. So
Look who's leading.
Yep. Well, let's hear some of who do we got coming up?
So we've got Andrew Hoy from Australia. He is, this is a great story too. He's here with his young daughter and his wife, and he first rode at a WEG 40 years ago in 1978 when he was 19 years old.
Really?
Yes. He is on a young horse, Vasily de Lassos, who's only a 9-year-old, and he came to the test event in the spring, and everyone was on a different horse, and didn't really think he was in with a shouter coming to the games because the Australian had a pretty strong squad. But as happens with horses, one thing and another, others dropped out. So here he is. He's thrilled to be here, obviously. But he talked, when he talked about doing his first games, he got slightly emotional, saying, when I first came, I was in awe and knew nothing, and at least this time. I know a little bit what to expect, but he said he's still in awe. I mean, so that was great.
When I went into the arena, I could feel that he was just growing to the atmosphere and growing to the occasion. My work around the arena felt really good, and I thought, okay, this is it. I just have to go and do it from here.
So how many world champs have you done now? Which number is this?
I'm not sure whether it's 5 or 6, whether this is 6 or whether this is 5. But
so does it feel old hat now, or is it just as exciting as it was the first time?
Look, 40 years ago was when I first rode World Championships at the age of 19. And then I had no idea. And I was just in awe. Now I at least know what to expect.
Yeah. Okay. And talking of expectations, how is the cross country?
Mark Phillips is a true professional when it comes to designing a cross-country course. He's built a big course. I jokingly said yesterday after walking the course, well, I think his budget must have been too high because he's got so many fences that we have to make a choice as to what we jump.
Do you feel like it's an advantage that you were here in the spring for the test event, even though you're on a different horse?
Yes, I feel that it's always a good thing to come prior. There are times when I haven't been before a championship, and you deal with it there and then on the day. But I at least knew what to expect stable-wise. I at least knew what to expect arena-wise, and cross-country. I knew the first section as to the lay of the land, and I just thought that where Mark Phillips had placed the fences before, that was obviously a little bit of a gauge to how the fences were jumping for the test event. So I knew that fences would be probably in a similar place, but I didn't know what was going to be put there. But I think that has worked though, because it's designing. It's a form of art, and an artist doesn't change his complete attack and complete design. So it stayed a little similar to where it was, but obviously very different.
So it's great to hear from Andrew, and we wish him all the best. And his horse actually has got a great jumping record. So, despite him being green, it'll be interesting to see what happens over the weekend. We're now going to hear from fellow Australian, but now riding for America, and in second place, Boyd Martin. And he talks about his horse, Thomas Tsetzeleg, who is American-bred Trakehner.
Yeah, thrilled. You ride at this level, and the biggest fear is not giving your best in the moment. And Thomas was awesome out there. The crowd erupted when he went in there because he's an American horse, and it almost picked him up a notch. Like in the past, I've had horses like Neville and Otis that would have gone berserk, and Thomas started passaging a bit, so it was really, really cool.
And was there anything in particular that you've been working on that really came through for you out there?
Yeah, I've been dialed in for this one for a long time now, so we've gone through those movements for months and months with Silver, Scott Hassler and Eric Devander, and you just probably this week I fumbled every movement but also did it well a couple of times, so you just hope in that 7 minutes that you can execute every movement and get it right. So I think the only part I screwed up was a bit the first centre line.
When that cheer went up, did you feel a bit nervous, or were you pumped as well?
I think it actually worked in my favour with this horse. Like, it lifted him a bit. He can fall behind the leg a bit, so the cheers I quite enjoyed, and it sort of it had a giggle to myself, which probably just killed my nerves for a sec, and then I sort of had to get tunnel vision when the bell ran and just do it, movement by movement by movement, and try not to think ahead of results or past blunders in the test. Like just one movement at a time and try and get it as good as you can.
And it's not going to be a dressage show. So, what are your thoughts on the course?
It's a really good course. It's a tough one just because it's so twisty and turny and technical at the beginning, and to ride that fast is going to take some real skill and a trained horse. And then you got to leave a bit in the tank for the last 2 minutes, and that's going to be the fitness that we've put into the horse over the years and the training, and then a lot of it will come down to heart and desire. And my guys are real triers, so I'm going to really go for it and give everything we have.
Our next rider that we're going to hear from, I know she's a favourite of the Horse Radio Network, Hawley Bennett Award.
Yay, Hawley Bennett.
She is riding Jolly Bow, a little mare that she bought from an English girl, Justine Dutton, who works down in Florida and imports lots of horses from the UK. And Jolly Bow, although she's a little small, dark mare, and you would imagine, because I think we all got to know Hawley was so famous on Gin and Juice, that little spicy mare that she had. And so this mare couldn't be any more different, and Hawley talks about that.
What were your thoughts on your test?
I was extremely proud of her. She handled the pressure like a champ, and she actually just got a little tired in that last canter. I think I was on it for maybe 5-10 minutes too long, but I'm not used to riding in heat and humidity, so it's hard to balance that. But she did nothing wrong, so I'm absolutely thrilled. Really happy. Really happy.
And I don't think anyone is really used to riding in this heat and humidity. So how has it changed things for you? How has she been handling the heat, and how have you been handling the heat?
Pretty good. Obviously we have a really good vet crew, and so they had some fluids before they shipped out here. And she's a really good eater and drinker, but it's honestly hard to stay on top of it, And I think I'm drinking lots, and all of a sudden I'm like, I haven't gone to the bathroom yet today. It's hard, and. But she's a trier. She's going to try no matter what. So it's my job to make sure she's prepped and ready to be in the best conditions she can be in.
And no one really knows quite what the weather will be like for cross country. But as far as what your plan is right now, what are you thinking about the cross country?
I'm running. Buck called me this morning, and the secretary's not here, but he's like, "You're running." The guy, you're individual, but he's like, "I have no pressure on me now to finish in a team spot, so I have no hold barred. I'm going to go for a clean round." And got the biggest studs we got, and good thing she's got big Irish feet, and she's from England. And I asked Justine, I'm like, is she good in the rain? Because I've never run her in bad weather, It doesn't rain in California. In the last year at Kentucky, it only rained for the last minute on my course, and she was a champ. So I don't know. I'm going for a clean round, clean fast round. She's fit. She's the fittest she's ever been. Usually she looks like a chubby little pony, and she looks like a rock star right now.
She looks really fit.
She's ready to go. So it's my job now.
So it's great to see Hawley back at championships again, and you can tell that she's so happy to be back and so hungry for it. And finally, talking about being back, Tina Cook at her 5th WEG, and again, with a horse fairly young but pretty experienced and had some blips, and it's just got all the stories. It's fascinating to hear. Some people come back, some people are at their first WEGs, some people like Andrew have been doing it for years and years. Mark Todd, by the way, let me just go, so I can't stop talking once you get me started. Mark Todd, this is his 8th WEG, more than any other rider.
Wow.
And
How
many
WEGs have there been? They've
only been 10. Sir Mark Todd, I should have said. Isn't that incredible? So Tina's coming to her 5th, and she's on a horse called Billy the Red, and she's just so honest and so sort of eloquent and so smart. And I could talk to her all day, but it was like 100 degrees, and she was sweating. And so we were told to wrap it up. But here's what we did talk about.
I am really pleased, but I know there's a lot more to come. I suppose I was a little bit cautious because of his tension at Le Moulin and Aachen. Yeah. He's been working really, really well. That he is showing to us that he is a world-class horse. It's nice to get that one out of the way. He felt as solid as a rock in his holds. I think he just went through a massive insecurity after the Europeans. He was only a 10-year-old last year. He did a lot of badminton in the Europeans. I'm not regretting it in the slightest because he went very, very well. He was, at both last year, and I just think my fall just set me back. He shows me he's still only 11. He's what makes me enjoy the sport and keep going on the sport and being part of an amazing team that is here with us. We've got the hindrance of the weather being so incredibly hot, and then in the next breath you get absolutely soaking wet. So we have no idea what's going to be thrown at us on Saturday. I think it's going to be really open. Whatever the dressage marks that's still to come, it's going to be testing, mostly with the weather conditions, which then always causes faults. And when everyone's going for the time, with the dressage marks will be so close together, there'll be a lot of excitement on Saturday.
What do you think of the horse?
It's possibly not the biggest dimensionally, but Mark Phillips has been very clever with the terrain, and I think with the weather conditions, he's been very sensible. He's given options at many fences that you can choose, and depending on how your horse is going, but you need a lot of petrol in the tank to get up that final hill. So championships can produce strange results when everyone is feeling the pressure of a team result, Olympic qualification, and you're going on speed. So the ground is fantastic at the moment, but it will just depends on what the heavens throw at us.
And no one knows better about the pressure and how to deal with that than you. Are you disappointed that you're not on the team?
Of course I'm disappointed, I'm not going to lie about that, but equally I haven't had a successful season. I've had a very bitty season, and everybody else has gone solidly really well this year, and it's all teams are always selected on present form, even though Billy the Red went so incredibly well last year, badminton and the Europeans, his form this year has been a bit hit and miss. So I can understand why I'm left off the team. Obviously I love being part of a team, it's my 5th games, and it's what excites me, but we are very much a team, all 5 of us. They're a great team to be with, some fantastic characters, and we're a really strong team. So I hope we come back with lots of medals and good results.
It's great to have you here.
It's lovely to be here for another one. With my year, I wasn't sure what to expect, if I'm being honest. So it was from my point of view, it was great that the selectors had belief and faith in me.
Now, you managed to get other interviews, Will Coleman, Blythe Tate, Gemma Tattersall, Victoria Scott. We're going to put those at the very end of the show. So for diehard eventing fans, hang on, because we're going to put those at the end of the show. We try and keep these to an hour. So we're going to have like bonus at the end with these interviews that you did, because they're good.
These are the Easter eggs.
Right.
We'll put those out there.
We'll put those out there. It's like staying through the credits of a Marvel movie. So you want to hang around to the end for those. And thank you for doing those today.
Oh, my pleasure.
So what are your final thoughts on eventing for day one, Dressage?
It was hot. It affected everyone. I hate to be British and talk about the weather, but it wasn't just me. Everyone was. I think it's a factor at this point. So, but we saw some beautiful tests.
We hope it cools off a little bit for cross country day. If it's not raining, I hope it's a little cooler. And
be careful what you wish for. I think at the moment it is going to cool off, but I think with that comes a lot of rain, and who knows? God knows
true.
what else.
That's true.
Yep, it's anybody's game.
That's true. Yep. And I did see a report today that they're finding that sharks are in the hurricane. So
Sharknado.
Yeah, maybe we will see sharks here in. Well, thank you so much. We'll have more of eventing tomorrow after day 2 of Dressage.
Yeah.
we'll know who is leading after dressage, which is very important in eventing now. Now, there has been a change. Dressage used to really count a lot more than it does in eventing. Explain that change real quick for those that
Well,
don't
there's no
follow.
coefficient now, so everything is super close.
It used to be count like double
1.5
or 1.5 times, and now
so there used to be a bigger gap between all the scores, but now, now time penalties on cross country will really matter.
So the three phases are equal?
Yep.
Did you say now? Okay. And
They're equal in scores, but they're not now the cross country is more influential, which is
it
how it
used to
should be
years ago,
and it
didn't
should be. Yeah.
That's what I thought. All right, can't wait. Here we go. And I wanted to remind everybody that
Yes.
Samantha did post the pictures of the cross country course, which by the way went viral today. So
Sweet.
those are on the 2018 WEG Show Facebook page. Just scroll down, you'll see pictures of almost every jump. And
Yep, the only ones we couldn't get her at the end because they went through the vet gate for the endurance and then they go into the main arena to finish up, and
can
that's
you
where they're doing
guess
dressage.
which of those jumps is getting the most comments? Can you take a guess?
Moonshine.
No. Bumblebee with the moat around it.
Oh, yeah.
That one's getting the most comments. It is a bizarre jump. So, yeah, look for that on our Facebook page, 2018 WEG Show. Thanks for taking those. They were really good pictures. We're going to come back in a minute. We're going to talk about reining. Next up, we have Lisa Coulter, who's out of Canada, who rode today. We got to watch her ride. It was a lot of fun. And right after we hear from our friends at Horseware.
In the world of horse racing and elite equestrian sports, it's all about how to prepare and repair. IceVibe is a truly portable and highly efficient circulation therapy system for your horse. Before activity, prepare to prevent damage by using the IceVibe's vibration pads. Repair after the event by using the unique combination of cold packs and vibration to minimize swelling and encourage blood flow. And because it's battery powered, IceVibe is truly portable. The essential and affordable tool to prepare and repair. IceVibe.
We are so excited to get help tonight to cover reining with somebody who knows a lot about it and somebody that is a very old friend of ours, Samantha.
Don't say very old.
She has been around in our lives for 8 or 10 years,
Yep.
actually. Lisa Coulter from Canada was our spotlight rider for 2010 WEG, and you're back in 2018.
Here I am
for your third WEG.
And I was like your newbie in
You
2010.
I know.
You were.
We were all newbies then, and now look at us, old and jaded.
I know. We're like, yeah.
Lisa, you rode today. You qualified yesterday to ride today, and it was hot in that arena. And it looked to me like the reining horses all were feeling the heat a little bit, and they were a little tired. And I know yours appeared that way too a little bit today.
Yeah, it was tough. You know, we all come here trying to be prepared as we can be, but this humidity zapped us, and so a lot of our horses were really tired. Mine was exceptionally tired. He had some troubles on the journey here because he came quite a ways, and so but I think, and then the European horses, I think all of us were feeling the pressure of the weather. Absolutely, yeah.
So how did you feel about everybody's rides today? There was something that was so heartwarming for me, and I'm going to play a clip right after we're done with you of Warwick Schiller and his wife,
Robin.
Mm-hmm. And they both rode today. They were half a point from each other, and Warwick, when I saw him after Robin's ride, he was so proud of his wife, and I got the best shots I posted today. It was so cool to see a husband and wife support each other so much, and it was really a neat scene.
Yeah, they're great people, and they're great, a part of our reining community, and they're just awesome supporters, and I think that was a big thrill for them. I actually had seen, they're both, I know them well, and Warwick earlier had said, hey, we get to ride again. We got another day, and I was feeling a little bit like, wow, I just wanted to make it from the, my team event to right to the individual. But he had the enthusiasm, and so did Robin, to come out, and they were like, hey, we get to ride again. That's what Warwick said to me, is we get to ride again. And I thought, that's the spirit. You know what? They had the true spirit going in there. I was a little bit like, dang, because I was so close to making the individual final in my first run. But he had the right spirit. He was like, you know what? I didn't make it. And then he went out and he marked a 220, and then Robin marched a 220 and a half. I guarantee you, because we all have our personal bests and our personal goals, I guarantee you they are the people that walk away from the reining game saying that they accomplished more than anybody else without a medal. And I think that's truly the biggest part of sportsmanship and what we do for our countries.
So were there any surprises for you today? What's happening today is there were a lot of individuals riding, and there were 5 spots available to still go on to tomorrow, right?
Right.
So, were there any surprises for you today?
The surprise was actually the ones that were in there. I think that because we had 2 sections, which was uncommon in our team rounds. Our first section went in the morning from like 8 till noon or something, and then we had a 3-hour break, and that was our first and second riders, and then we, after a 3-hour break from the judging, we had our third and fourth anchor riders essentially come up 3 hours later, and the judging got a little bit disconnected. So some of the things that I saw today was some of the horses in the round trying to get back that maybe were shouldn't have been there. They maybe, so it kind of got a little bit disconnected, but that's because in reining we have we go from, we shouldn't have had that maybe 3-hour break, because I think it just kind of unsettled the judges a little bit. That's a new one for us, but I don't want to complain about it. It was just a different dynamic. So I saw some horses today that I feel like should have made it through the individual round, clearly.
I would like to tell you who the 5 were that made it, but you guys sent me this sheet and I don't understand any of it. So.
Oh dear. Well,
Second email. Okay, let me take a look at that.
Okay, I know for sure that Martin Nielstetter, he's a prime example. He was somebody that I didn't ever think would have made it. He was, the anchor rider, and so he had the 4th spot on his team, and then
he's from what country?
Austria. Yeah, Austria. And he's got an exceptional horse, and I didn't watch his run.
Called
so
Blowgun.
Blowgun, yeah, cool horse, very cool horse, and he's marked huge scores in the past, and so. That's a horse maybe because he was in the second section and things got a little tighter that he maybe shouldn't have been, but he came in and played the game hard and went out with what was probably should have maybe been his run the first go. I can't say that for sure, but I just was surprised that some of the horses that ended up like Franco Bertolani and the Gennaro Lendi from Italy.
There were 3 Italians in that group today.
Yeah, which was probably surprising for the Italians because they usually come out super strong, and in past games they've been top teams. So there was some surprises there going into that round that we never saw, and so that's something I guess was remarkable to me.
So so tomorrow what happens? So what this group
tomorrow's
from yesterday and today, tomorrow's a day off.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we go into the individual, and there's 25 riders that go back to that go back to the individual. Is there 20? There's 20.
What tests are left at this point?
Individual gold medal or medals. Individual gold, silver.
Is it a pattern or is freestyle? Freestyle doesn't count. Actually.
No, it doesn't.
That's right.
It doesn't. It's a pattern.
But they're doing a freestyle.
Pattern.
Are they doing a freestyle?
No, there's no freestyle here.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Which is my favorite thing to
yeah,
watch.
I know,
of course.
Right? Yeah. I mean, that would draw the crowds for sure. That's so much fun. Yeah.
Well, Lisa, it's so good to see you again.
You too.
And it's so fun to have you
and
here.
And we're probably going to be back in Kentucky.
Oh, really?
For the Rolex. I'm getting the news that, so the freestyle, and
Are they going to do Reining again at Land Rover? No?
I think it is. I think Amanda Brumley with Brumley Management is bringing it back to Kentucky. I'm crossing my fingers. I've heard that. She's gone out and had meetings, and we really want to see us Reiners back at Kentucky. It's my favorite.
It was so much fun to have you guys there, too.
That whole event.
Plus, I think the thing about that event, too, is you got people that were there to watch eventing who had never seen Reining before, so you're bringing a whole new group.
And vice versa.
Right.
And I think the Reiners and the eventers have the same dynamics. I mean, we're a little bit crazy. We're a little bit adrenaline junkies. We want to go hard and fast, but we love the finesse of our horses too. So I think eventers and Reiners really fit together, and so I think you'll see us again in Kentucky next year.
That's great news.
Sounds good. Yeah, that's fun. Anytime we see you is good news.
Well, thank you. Likewise.
Thank you, Lisa Coulter. Do you have a website?
Nope.
Well, Facebook?
Yep. Facebook. I'm on Lisa Coulter Reining Horses.
Lisa Coulter Reining Horses on Facebook.
Yeah, and then I'm doing the para thing now. So I've kind of my whole world has gone to my website has gone to the World Para Reining, trying to get them guys going.
Well, I'll tell you what. We later on in our People of WEG segment, we're going to have a gold medalist para-rainer
Lauren Barwick?
No, Brianna Bartlett.
Oh, you're going to have Brianna come?
I talked to her today.
Oh, she's phenomenal.
And she was wonderful. We're going to hear from her later in the show.
Yeah, no, she's phenomenal. She's a great ambassador for our sport, and she's changing people's lives by being an inspiration. So I'm glad you're going to talk to her.
Well, and I think you're going to hear that in her interview later in the show.
Yeah.
Thanks, Lisa.
She's killer. Okay.
Reining.
Yay!
Go USA. And Canada. had to do that to you. Thank you, Lisa.
You bet.
Well, that was great to have Lisa here. I do have one interview, or actually it's two I put together. As we mentioned, Warwick Schiller out of Australia, who's a very popular clinician down there. We know we have lots of listeners in Australia. And then Robin Schiller, his wife, who both rode almost back-to-back today, whose scores were within a half a point of each other. She was kind of mad because hers was half a point behind. They have a little friendly competition. They love each other, and I'm going to play the interviews they did in the mix zone after just a couple minutes, but I think you'll enjoy this.
So I'm just wondering how it feels to be back out there for a second time.
Even better than the first time. The first time yesterday was the most fun I've ever had showing a horse. And today was even more fun because it's, we got back to the consolation round, so it's do or die sort of thing. And it was just fun. He was a little trickier in spots than yesterday. But I tried to cover it up with speed and it worked. I didn't know if I'd have enough horse because it's pretty hot today and he was pretty tired.
It is really hot today.
But he ran around there really good for me. I was very happy with it.
That's great. And the routine today is different to yesterday's. How do you feel they compared, or which one do you prefer?
Well, see, today has one more manoeuvre in it. It's got one more set of circles, which is a figure eight. And the best thing my horse does is circles. So I knew I had, he can really run circles. So I knew I had something up my sleeve today that I could accentuate his score,
Well, that's great. And what would it mean to you to progress even more in this competition?
Beyond expectations. Totally beyond expectations, we came here just trying to help make up a team for Australia. I don't do the reining for a living anymore. I do clinics all around the world. I'm more of an educator these days than a competitor. And I hadn't shown for 4 years, and then we decided to do this year, so I had to get back to the show plan. And to mark that score here at the World Equestrian Games is just phenomenal.
Great. Thank you so much. Well done.
Thank you.
That's what I just asked, how it feels to be back in there for a second time?
Oh, amazing.
Is it good?
That's what I just kept saying is just to go back in again. We never thought just going in once was going to be great. Now, there's a lot to go, but if we could do it 3 times, oh my God.
What would that mean to you to go out there? That's amazing.
Yeah. And for you and work to be half a point apart.
Well,
you know.
Today's pattern's different to yesterday's. Which one do you prefer? Which one do you think works best for you?
Well, this one has more maneuvers, so that could be why the higher score. He ran out of gas a little bit to my stops.
It's a big arena, isn't it?
Yeah, so, for him, I don't know. I kind of like today's.
Well, you got a great score.
Yeah, thank you.
And you were a crowd favorite out there. You really were.
Awesome.
They were rooting for you.
Yeah, I heard him actually.
Well done.
Thank you.
Happy couple. I don't know. So we have the Prices are a couple, but I'm these guys, and I don't know of any other couples that are competing. So it's kind of neat that they're two.
We used to have Clayton and Lucinda.
Frederick, yeah.
And we used to have Lucinda and David Green a long time ago.
Yeah, but it's rare. It's not common to see that.
Yeah.
So good on them, and I know they're thrilled, as Lisa said, that they're just so happy to have been here and all the way from Australia. So now coming up,
Andrew and Bettina Hoy. Sorry,
that's right. She's gone through the couples.
I'll keep popping up with more, maybe. Carry on.
Well, if we have next coming up the segment that we're doing at the end of every show, and that's the People of WEG. Before we get to that, we want to review what's happening tomorrow. Tomorrow is the Dressage Grand Prix special for the individuals that qualified to go on, and it's the second round of eventing dressage, and that's what we have tomorrow.
Second day.
Second day, yeah. Okay. And also we wanted to remind everybody that if you're coming here, really the only other activity now other than shopping, which is a lot of that.
Eating and drinking,
is the theater. They have a theater showing horsey movies all day long. It's air-conditioned. It's cool. It's right in the middle of the grounds. It's a big building. It's now marked. They put a sign up that says theater, and they're showing horsey movies all day long. So if you need a place to cool off or eat your lunch, that's a perfect place to go. So be sure. It's run by the Equus Film Festival, and they're showing almost all the great horsey movies out there. So, and films and documentaries. So be sure to visit that. We want to also mention something about the parking. I think we have to mention this. Apparently, the parking lot is a bit of a mess out there where you're going to park to come here. Allow extra time. Some people were getting in on the buses in a half an hour. Some waited. Some people we talked to from Great Britain for 3 hours to get a bus.
It depends.
It depends on when you get here and how the buses. Some of the buses were getting stuck. I hope they fix that by tomorrow. A lot of the things I noticed on the road signs coming in today, they had cleared up the traffic problems from yesterday with big road signs that weren't there the day before. They seem to be trying to address things. Let's hope they do with that with parking. I would say get here early is what I would tell you. The earlier the better. So we just wanted to address that for all the listeners. Still come out and see us, but get here early. So one other thing we wanted to mention is bed and barn. If you're towing your horse from the north part of the East Coast to the south, this part of the country is about halfway, and we want you to stay at Bed and Barn Farms. It's near here because that's where we're staying. They have plenty of room for large trailers, large stalls, paddocks for your horses. It's a good place to stop over on your trip south, and lodging for you as well. It sleeps 8, and we had 6 in there last night, so it sleeps comfortably. Pull out your cell phone and book your room today. Bed and Barn Farms, located at Forest City, North Carolina, 10 minutes from here. And you can find them at Bed and Barn Farms, NC.com. Bed and Barn Farms, NC.com.
And now the people of WEG.
Well, I am over here at the Land Rover booth. Yes, they're here, and they're here with the test drives again. And, many of you have been to Rolex or Land Rover now, 3-day event, and many of you have been there, and you've seen it, and you've done it. Well, you can do it here, and it's a different course. It's on top of the hill, and it looks fun. Christoph is with me.
Hi there, yes. So we actually have 2 drives this year. We have a teen drive for people that are 14 years or older and are...
Oh, they don't have to have a license?
Yeah, they don't have to have a permit at all. So they're
Is that why there was padded walls around there?
Trying to keep it as safe as possible. And so
extra airbags.
Yeah. And they're able to drive our compact vehicles, so our Discovery Sport and our Evoque. However, that's not limited just to teens. Adults can also take that if they want to test drive those cars. But then we have the full-on adult drive, and so that's for our mid-size and large vehicles. So the Range Rover Velar, Range Rover Sport, Range Rover, and the Discovery.
If you are coming here and you've never done this, you have to do it. It is a blast. I've done it a couple times over at Kentucky, and it is just a blast.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And for people who are maybe tentative, a little hesitant, you always have an instructor with you in the front passenger seat.
Oh, they don't let you do this alone.
Well, they want to make sure that you're not only having a good time while driving, but also understanding all the mechanics. So they go over what's happening with the vehicle, all the different functions of the vehicle as well, just showing off everything that you can do.
And I'm kind of glad they did, because Range Rovers just have so many buttons and whistles now. And the different things that the car will do, it's so interesting to hear about it when you're driving that you wouldn't know if you did it yourself.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I mean, we've come a long way. We used to just have HDC, which is hill descent control, which when people use it for the first time is very wild, because what you're doing is you're taking your foot off the brake and just letting the car go downhill for you. And now we have Terrain Response 2, which is not only that, but also basically off-road cruise control, where you can set the speed and the vehicle is going to go up, downhill, and it's amazing what these cars can do now. We're just getting better and better with our technology.
Wow. That's cool. I didn't know about that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That is really neat. Now, you guys are located in front of the Legends building, which is down in the middle, right in the middle. Mm-hmm. And you have a big, beautiful building here.
Yeah.
But the course is up top. What do people do? They come to the building here first?
So yeah, we kind of have a nice flow. So we have the Ultimate Stable, which is right in front of the Tryon Stadium. And here people can check in at our main area. They can get a few goodies. We've got some Land Rover sunscreen, because it's sunny and hot out here when it's not raining.
Yeah.
And then they can
for the
next day. And then they can also go home with our Land Rover commemorative mug as well, so they can take that with them, as well as learn about a few of our products. From here, checking in, we send guests to the drive registration, which is down at the end of Vendor Village.
Okay.
And that's where they'll check in, they'll sign their drive waivers, and then they'll get straight into a vehicle from there, either for the teen drive or for the full-on adult drive, and then they'll do the drive.
That's great. Well, thank you very much. What's the website, by the way, for your company?
So we have JaguarLandRoverUSA.com.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Appreciate it. Okay, so another random find here at WEG is Brianna Bartlett, who's a gold medalist in para-reining, right?
Yeah.
And you were in the early beginning stages of para-reining when it
Been
first
here
started.
since day one. Yeah.
How long ago did para-reining start?
We the first ever demo for para-reining was back in 2014. So yeah.
And then you were part of the 2016 team. Where'd the gold medal come from?
I competed for the United States in I've competed in 2015 and 2016 and 2017, and yeah, so it's been good. But we got the gold medals in 2016 at the AQHA World Show.
Yeah, which is really cool.
It was really great.
And you're still a reiner, I assume?
Still a reiner,
Still doing it?
yes.
Tell us about your horse.
I actually am riding 2 different horses right now. I still have Western Wiz, who's owned by Lisa Coulter and Bob Thompson from Canada. And then I have my own horse who is, his name is Joey, but he's hopefully he's a 4-year-old. We're just kind of starting to learn each other, and he's coming off a little bit of an injury. So hopefully here in this next year, we're going to be out in the show pen.
Why are you a para?
I'm a paraplegic, so I broke my back when I was 22. I have a spinal cord injury, so I'm paralyzed from the knees down, real weak in the back of my legs, short distance walking, but yeah.
Yeah, you're standing here doing the interview.
Standing the interview. Yeah.
So what kind of aids do you need? Do you need any?
I wear braces on both of my legs. When I'm riding, I use rubber bands to keep my feet in the stirrups because otherwise they just flop out. And it just really depends on the horse. If I need to, I can use a crop to, kind of help replace a little bit of leg.
Because that's allowed.
It is, yeah. And sometimes, if I have to grab the horn, that's available too in the para-reining, so just for balance.
And why reining?
You know what, it's been my passion since day one. When I first started getting back into the horses, it wasn't even available, it wasn't a thing. And so I started back in para-dressage just to learn about the adaptive aids. And when I found out reining was a thing, I was there. I just was all in. So my English saddles got packed in the closet in a hurry.
Well, it's so good to see you here. You mentioned Lisa Coulter. She was our Spotlight Reiner for 2010 WEG.
Yeah.
And we're hopefully going to catch up with her today. She did well yesterday.
She did. She placed 26th, I believe, overall. She's going to go again today for the individual, and I'm going to be cheering.
And they take 15 or 20 of the individuals today, I think?
I believe so.
Yeah, and then they move on.
Then they move on.
For the gold.
Yeah. So
well, we love her. She's the sweetest, nicest person in the world.
She's got a big heart.
She's very Canadian.
Yeah, she's very Canadian, big heart, and she loves the para program too, so she's just been awesome.
All right, give us a Go Canada.
Go Canada! Woo! I'm going to be screaming like crazy out there today.
Sounds terrific.
Right.
4 o'clock, that starts if you're watching FEI TV.
Yeah.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Perfect. Oh, we didn't mention your video where people can find it. Let's do that.
Okay.
Add it on here.
Okay.
And you have a video, too, which people can watch on YouTube?
Yes.
Where do they go? What do they find?
If you search World Para-Reining on YouTube, you can find it there. There's actually a couple different versions and a couple different videos. It's showing here today at the Equus Film Festival, or actually throughout the whole WEG at the Equus Film Festival.
World Para-Reining.
Yeah.
And that's where they'll find it on YouTube.
Absolutely.
Great, thanks much.
Thank you.
Well, before we wrap up today's show, we're going to play the rest of the interviews for you that Samantha did. Why don't we introduce these? And we have next coming up
Will Coleman, US rider riding tight lines. He was the last-minute substitute. Only found out Saturday morning that he was coming here when Marilyn Little had to withdraw due to her horse picking up.
Well, that's last minute.
That is pretty last minute. And actually, when I was walking the course yesterday, I saw Marilyn Little. She flew in yesterday to support the US team and to help cool out and do whatever they needed doing, which I thought was really good sportsmanship on her part. So Will stepped up. He's here on his grey thoroughbred tight lines, who's an out-and-out galloping, jumping machine, super fast. That wasn't me. And he was pleased with this test.
Yeah, I think reasonably. Yeah, he was, he's not, no one's watching him trot around here and thinking he might be a dressage horse. And I think given, the atmosphere in there and kind of how this would be his weakest phase by a long shot, I think he was good. He's going to get better with time, but he's still relatively green and needs to get stronger. And I was happy. I don't think I could have asked for a lot more.
And he's not on the team for the dressage, so.
Well, I hope not. They'd probably be a little disappointed if he is, but no, I think he's a thoroughbred, and he's here really for Saturday and Sunday. He's a good jumper usually as well, so that's going to be where we put our focus now. And this phase is done. We just got to look ahead.
And next up,
Blythe Tate. Who doesn't love Blythe Tate? He was in the New Zealand press conference the other day, and he was I can't remember the first World Games he was at, but he's been at several along with Mark Todd. And someone asked him, like, you're such an old hand. Does it become sort of boring for you almost? He was like, no. He said, it's been so long since I've been to one that it feels like it's new again. I'm pretending it's my first. So he was thrilled with his horse. He did a great test, and he's just almost like watching. You can learn a lot sometimes just from listening. And just, I think what I'm most surprised when you listen to people like Blythe and Mark and Andrew Hoy, they're still so humble and they're still so happy to be here. I mean, it's just lovely.
Tight radio listeners, I'm lucky to secure Blythe Tate here now, just post his dressage test. Tell me what you thought about that. Thanks, Blythe.
I'm very pleased. The horse isn't very experienced at this level, so it was a big ask for him, and he let me really ride him. Always when you come out, you wish you'd sort of done a little bit more, but I guess it was sensible not to rock the boat too much going out as first team member. But on the whole, I'm really pleased with him.
No, that's super. And tell me what you think about the cross-country course with your horse in particular.
I think it'll suit him, to be honest. There's a lot to look at, and he's a bit inexperienced, so whether he gets a bit distracted, he's quite a careful horse, tiny bit spooky, so he'll have to put his brave pants on, but it's a good galloping course. The going's perfect. Well, it is at the moment. I just guess it's going to be luck of the draw as to whether you go in a monsoon or hot sunshine with 30 degrees, so we're just going to wait and see what we're provided with and ride accordingly.
Super. Thanks for talking with us.
Let's take a listen to Gemma Tassel. I've got a soft spot for Gemma. She's just a really bubbly, lovely British girl. She's got an off-track... I don't know if he raced, but he's a big, rangy thoroughbred. She's struggled in the past with him dressage, but she's now really got the hang of it. He's a cross-country machine. She's a great team member. She's... I don't know. There's just I just really like her. All the Brits, I think, Tina said something about that. They're just a great team, and they really are. And she's just fun to listen to, I think. And her horse is called Arctic Soul. I think she was one of the first people to try and she put a syndicate together to buy him. It's the Arctic Soul Syndicate. She was one of the first people to do that. I don't know. It's just something about her.
Are you pleased with him?
Yeah, over the moon with him. Very, very stingy judges, but I was super happy with the horse, yeah.
And how is he kind of coping with the atmosphere?
Yeah, he's been amazing. He kept his cool in there. He felt really good to let me ride him. He did all the movements. I thought it was a pretty clear round. One change wasn't perfect, but apart from that, he was pretty spot on.
And then last up for today.
Victoria Scott, the South African rider I talked to, who's just inspiring. She trains in France, managed to get herself over here, not on the first horse that she would have wanted. Her horse went lame 2 days before, not lame, got cast, and so 2 days before she was supposed to come here, she changed her mind and brought the 9-year-olds, and it's just another one of those stories. She's not coming for a team. She's not in with the chance of a medal, really, but she's just happy to be here, proud of her horse, and enjoying the experience.
I didn't expect he was going to be so scared of flowers. Okay. But shame, he got through it. Oh, shame.
And can you tell us a bit more about you and the horse? Where are you based?
I'm based in France.
Okay.
Sadly, we can't be based in South Africa because we've got a very long quarantine to exit South Africa. So I'm based in France, and this is actually my second string horse because my first string horse got cast in the box 2 days before leaving.
Oh no!
So this is a young horse, he's only 9, so this is quite a big experience for him.
And where in France are you based?
I'm based in Cognac, it's just north of Bordeaux.
Okay. And how long have you been there?
I've been there for 1 year, and I've been in France for 6 years.
And who do you train with?
I was with Rudolf Scherer. And now I train with individual trainers and my fiancé, Edouard Legendre.
And this is a young horse, you say. What kind of character is he to work with and train?
He's terrified at home, so the spooking at the flowers is quite normal at home.
Okay.
But he's normally wonderful in the cross country. He's very straight, very honest. So I'm hoping that works for us here. So we'll see on Saturday.
What do you think of the course?
It's beautiful, really, really beautiful. It's a long gallop at the end, but he's done wonderful options on everything, so we all have a chance of making it to the finish.
Okay, that's it for today. Thank you, everybody, for hanging around. We know this show went probably a little bit longer than our other episodes, but we had lots of good content, and when there's so much going on, we try and fit it in. And we're looking forward to being here with you again tomorrow, and we have tomorrow's a little bit lighter day for us, actually, only 2 competitions instead of 3. So we'll give you the results of that tomorrow evening. These shows come out every night. We try and get them out by 9 to 10 o'clock. I know a lot of you, we met some of our listeners today who were pressing refresh on their players last night, hoping for it to come out. So we'll get them out as soon as we can. You can find all of our shows on the Horse Radio Network at horseradionetwork.com, and this particular show at 2018wegshow.com. We have an app for the Horse Radio Network. It's free. It's easy to use. It's probably the best way to listen to all of our shows. Search iOS or Android for Horse Radio Network. And what else?
That's it.
That's it. We're out of here.
Yeah.
Thanks, Samantha. Thanks,
Thank you.
Jennifer.
Thank you.
And we'll talk to you all tomorrow.